Okay, 3 things to note in the Nyanga Tynwald incident. The first one is the speeding driver. It has been confirmed by ZBC News that the driver was speeding and he failed to negotiate a cave. The second thing is the release of the information by social media outlets. Thirdly, our character as Zimbabweans. Let's go into the first one. Look at how a driver is speeding in these circumstances, knowing that you are carrying children that are going out, parents that have sacrificed a lot, sacrificed their salaries, sacrificed their savings in order to send their kids, only to return a corpse. How many times have you seen that we have lost kids due to the negligence by school authorities? One can point the story of Livingstone Sunwa. One can point at a number of things that we've seen in the past 24 months of how authorities have neglected their call to be responsible to the kids that they look at. Isn't time we have a crackdown on these authorities to make sure that they take responsibilities for their actions, especially drivers when you're driving school kids? Then the second thing is the insensitivity of how Zim celebs and other media outlets simply spread the news. I mean, look at this post, how insensitive it was. I would imagine the person who was with the kids and trying to make sure that they save more lives, being bombarded with calls from parents wanting to know the safety of their children. How difficult it was. How school authorities were dealing with calls from parents. Is my child safe? Is my child safe? I know some people will say, oh, police take time. Let them take their time. It is very, very important. We must also understand that in the delivery of the information to a person and the panic that it causes is different. For example, I can come to you and say, your father is dead. And a doctor or a trained professional would come to you and say, I'm sorry to tell you this, that your father could not make it. It's the delivery of the information that makes someone to calm down, even though the goal is to send the same message. But the panic here that it causes when someone is being told kids at your school have perished and you don't know whether your child is safe because you can't get hold of them, it's very, very worrying. However, let's come to the last one. Our character as drivers in Zimbabwe. I am one of them, and I've driven a few times in the streets of Harare. And I can tell you, a lot of us, we just drive recklessly. We have the most unsafe roads in Southern Africa, yet we have the most irresponsible drivers on our roads. And I see this notion up with people, which is kind of like childish, where people think that because the car can clock 350 kilometers per hour, you need to try to push it to those limits. Well, anyone can be a driver, especially with these automatic cars. Just put your foot on the gas and there you go. So any dumb person can drive, but we need responsible people. So unless we change our characters on how we drive on these roads, we continue to have these fatalities. Yes, the government is responsible for fixing our roads and making them safer for the rest of us, but we also have to play our part and be responsible with our driving, because we have the most unsafe roads, yet we drive recklessly. Tell me what you think about this Nyanga incident and what should happen to the authorities and the drivers that are putting the lives of the kids at risk. All that in the comment section.